It's your boy, Mr. Skrilltown, host of Welcome to Skrilltown Talk Live. And tonight's guest is the lovely singer-songwriter and screenwriter and researcher Lisa Dunn. Hey, how you doing, Lisa?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. For those who don't know Lisa, she has a beautiful voice. And I'm gonna play a little bit of her video. But before I play her video, I want to give you a little background on Lisa Dunn. So Lisa Dunn commands the attention of audiences with her spellbinding powerhouse voice and ability to translate the emotional intention of a song when she sings. Whether you want to groove to a high energy party song with your girlfriends in the car, get close to someone on the dance floor with a throwback 90s club vibe, or get nostalgic to music that takes you back to the days of the soul singers of Motown, Lisa Dunn can deliver. She has been compared to some of the greats in pop and R&B, including Adele, Amy Winehouse, Etta James, Donna Summer, and Roberta Flack. And then it says they have in their midst a real jewel on vocals, a lady who can deliver on all fronts as a vocalist. That was from Mel Osborne of Blue Matters magazine. Welcome to Square Town Talk, Lisa. Uh,
I'm very happy to be here.
thank you. So, without further ado, I'm gonna play her video and give me the name of the video one more time, Lisa.
I believe. Well, this is the Freaking Groovies band. This is one of the bands that I perform with in Vancouver.
Hmm.
I'm not sure which song it is. It might be Little by Little,
Yeah, I think it's little by little. Uh huh. And
Little
I
by Little, which is Susan Tedeschi does a cover of this blues song, and that's kind of her arrangement, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give you a little clip of it. Like I was telling Lisa prior to our interview, it's like it's already playing in my head. It's a really cool vibe. So check it out.
You stay out all night till the break of day. Snap me up with everything I say. Little by little, oh, I'm losing you, I can see. And bit by bit, darling, your love is slipping away from me. Oh, I wonder what you're doing. Don't you know it ain't right? I wonder what you're doing that it takes all night. Little by little, oh, I'm losing you, I can see. And bit by bit, darling, your love is slipping away from me. Now I say, whoa, whoa, whoa.
See that right there? That part that whoa, that's the part that's been playing in my head. Like I'm telling you, that's
Yeah,
man. Like your
that's not
voice
one of
is
my songs, but it is a catchy blues song for sure. And Tedeschi Trucks Band, or Susan Tedeschi, is definitely an artist to check out. If you
Mhm.
aren't familiar, she's a fantastic blues artist. So
Yeah, well, like I said, you do a fantastic cover of her, and
thank you.
all it did was take me back to back when I used to go, like every weekend we would go out to this blues club and listen to cover bands and stuff like that. But that's what that took me back to. So yeah, welcome on the show. So tell the viewers a little bit about you, like as far as where you're from and how you got introduced into music.
So I have kind of a very weird kind of beginning in music. I've always been a music fan. I've loved music of all genres. I was exposed to music of many different genres growing up, from my parents, siblings, cousins, etc. So
Mhm.
big on the vinyl and reading the liner notes and lyrics. But I was very shy, so I never it didn't ever enter my mind that I would ever front a band or do any of that. I actually started with live music at age
Mm.
41.
Really?
Yeah, so not until
Okay.
2012.
Well, I mean, it's never too late.
Exactly. So, and how that happened was basically I was out at a karaoke joint actually
Mm-hmm.
with a couple of friends and some musicians that frequented around the downtown area
Mm-hmm.
would come in occasionally and do a couple of songs themselves. And I was approached by a blues bass player, jazz blues bass player named William Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Would you like to come guest spot with me at a place around the corner?"
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just the timing of when he asked me. It was just kind of like, I'm going to say yes to the opportunities and fight through the fear kind of thing.
Right,
So
right.
I did a couple of songs with him, and it just quickly kind of snowballed into other invites to another venue called the Jazz Cellar. I became kind of a regular guest on Blue Mondays
Mm.
with other blues artists, and it was really great networking. And I got to meet a lot of great, like Juno winning, Juno nominated,
Mm-hmm.
Canadian artists. And I ended up joining a blues band called Hell's Gate Blues Band, which was formed from people that happened to be in the audience at the time and some other friends. And I wrote the first three songs for that band that ended up on
Mm-hmm.
our first CD within 6 months of me starting that. And
Wow.
then I quickly joined the Freakin' Groovies, which was a multi-genre four-piece. And then within a year, I was also doing jazz. I was with another blues band, doing charity gigs, and
Mm-hmm.
also and a four-piece acoustic band, and a gospel soul choir by 2016.
So you was just a part of everything. Like everybody was like, "Hey, call up Lisa. We need you." You was on call, so every time, like every weekend, your phone, you have to keep your
Pretty
phone
much.
right next
I
to
was
you.
making up for lost time, I guess.
Yeah, like So my question would be like, when did you know that you could sing? Because I mean, what it sounds like is that you was out at karaoke and you was like, "Yeah, girl, I'm about to get up here and you
No,
know."
not at all.
Mm-hmm.
When I did karaoke, even for the first time, I didn't even know the city had it. It was
Mm-hmm.
by accident that I was teaching at the time, and we discovered it by accident coming off of a teacher night, thing at the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up in this venue, and my friend kind of dared me to get up, and
Really?
I was shaking like a leaf doing it. But I basically over time,
Mm-hmm.
people that I don't know that have nothing invested coming up to me and saying, "You are really good. Like, are you professional? Or you should be doing this."
Yeah.
That built up a confidence. And
Right.
so, I guess once the nervousness and the anxiety kind of settled a little bit, and I
Mm-hmm.
got comfortable, the um, the delivery got better. Like
Yeah.
all
Well,
things are.
see, and that's the crazy thing because I started doing music. I started writing music at 9. I started doing performing at 14. But like we knew, I mean, I knew that I could do that a long time ago. In your case, it sounds like you really didn't know, and then people start telling you, like, you actually can sing. That's unique because a lot of people kind of know already. So for you
No,
not to know and just it happened to happen like that, that's really unique. That's a cool story.
I
So,
always did sing, but it
mm-hmm,
was always like in the company of family in the car, or in my house or with friends. But nobody
yeah,
was like, "Wow, you're a great singer." Like nobody ever,
right. Said
you
anything,
know,
huh?
said anything like that. So I just, I enjoyed it, but I was too shy to do it in public.
You know
And
what that also sounds like is that if they didn't say nothing, that's because everybody around you could sing. You know what I'm saying? And nobody really tell. Like, you probably had a group of singers and family members that I could have started a band or something a long time ago. Like, yeah.
Well, my first marriage's family, actually, we did do an a cappella choir in church. And
Really? Wow.
yeah, so that was my first exposure to the gospel side of things, and
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So that's kind of where that started, and then it didn't happen till years later that I joined the gospel soul choir in Canada once I moved away
Yeah.
from Philly. But I was in Philly for those 4 years that I
Mm-hmm.
started doing gospel in the church. Yeah.
Wow. So, and for those who don't know, an a cappella, just singing in a cappella is like, I mean, you have to have talent. You have to be able to sing. A lot of times the music behind the voice kind of like, it'll help you if you really can't sing, as we all know with the auto tunes and all the extra stuff. So if you can be in a cappella group, then that just means everybody can sing in that group. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no music behind you, and everybody can hear when you kind of mess up. So you got to rehearse more and more than you would if you had music behind it. So yeah, that's cool. So you're from Canada and you're from British Columbia. So for
Yeah.
those that are not familiar with that area, what's the like bigger cities around there?
So I used to be on the coast in Vancouver, or close
Mm-hmm.
to Vancouver, which is kind of what most people would be familiar as the major city in BC
Okay.
that people go into and fly into. And that's, Whistler is where, some of the Winter Olympics happened in 2010 and stuff like that. I live about 5 hours southeast of that in the Okanagan.
Okay.
Okanagan Valley, which I try to describe to people as kind of the California of BC.
Wow.
So it's like desert climate. It's warm.
Mm-hmm.
It's drier. We don't get nearly as much rain. It's flash storms if we do, and then it dries right up. We have wineries every few minutes away.
That sounds like a cool place.
And orchards. Fruit really grows well here, fruit and vegetables. So like there's lots of orchards and a lot of wineries and lakes and surrounded by beautiful mountains. So it is absolutely gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah.
That might be a place I need to check out. Because I've never been to Canada, and everybody's always talking about Niagara Falls and Toronto. And
if people want to fly in here, there's a airport in Kelowna, British Columbia, which is just about an hour from where I am. There's a smaller, like a one room airport.
Oh yeah, it's one of those you walk in
Penticton. That's the smaller town, Penticton.
Yeah.
But Kelowna is the larger city, so that they get flights in from all over the place. But there's only a couple of airlines that fly into Penticton. But it is a beautiful spot if anybody wants to come this way, for sure.
Nice. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about your screenwriting. I just found out this, as you know, but you have a show that you've been writing. You've been a part of a writing team. Tell us a little bit about that and how you got started in screenwriting.
Well, it was just kind of, I don't know, the universe was working in my favor, I think. But during the COVID, first year COVID, there was kind of a discussion group happening on an app called Clubhouse.
Yeah.
And Jason P. Rothberg, who used to do A&R, was also a music supervisor. He's also the creator of this whole idea. But he was beginning this discussion group, bringing indie artists with indie filmmakers into this room and trying to connect the two so that the film would do better with higher quality music and the artists could get some exposure and maybe work out some kind of step deal. So it would work for both the artist and the filmmaker. And I thought, well, this is a really cool idea. So I was tuning in just for something to do every week, and it was a great forum, and he was introducing a lot of great musicians and directors into the room. So it was also another way to network with people and find out who does what and the kind of music that they make. And then it very quickly got picked up for a podcast. So I came on as kind of a volunteer person that was doing some research and helping write the scripts for this podcast. I would sometimes pre-interview a few of the guests prior to, and then it got discussed as a possibility for a TV show. And so over the past couple of years, it's really been developing the format for the show, getting investors and sponsors. We went to the Cannes Film Festival last year and did a live production of what the show would be at the American Pavilion. And basically it's Jason P. Rothberg, Rose Ganguza, who's a film producer in New York, Colin O'Donoghue, who is an actor and musician in Ireland, who is our host. And the three of them do the interviews with the guests who are either actors, directors, or musicians. And we talk about connection of music in film and TV. And so,
that's nice.
Yeah, it's going to be an animated program. So Zatar is our own company name for the avatars that are created for the show, which are Zavatars. Our patented avatars are called Zavatars. And so the whole show is animated, and it will be airing later this year. I can't really give too many details around.
Right, I understand.
But we've got some great guests lined up, and it's going to be a really fun show, and it will be airing on a couple of North American networks. So if you want to go follow, it's the Zavatar show _ between the words on Instagram. And we're on all the socials. So if you want to go follow us and kind of keep up with what's happening, there will be some perks to kind of being connected as an audience member. There's some really great interactive things that our show offers, because it will be taking place in the Web3 metaverse as well. Yeah.
That's incredible. And, so my question would be, transitioning into a screenwriter from a musician, like, how difficult was that? Was it easy? Was it, challenging? Has it been challenging?
So I'm one of a team of writers, and the other people involved have had a lot of experience. There's a film director, and then the creator of the show as well, and two other experienced writers that have written for other shows. I came into it with kind of a hybrid of being a musician, a songwriter, but I also was a teacher, so I've got some experience, English degree of editing and research and and writing. So I approach it from that standpoint. So I'm often the one that's kind of scribing things as we discuss and brainstorm, and I do all the kind of research prep work, and then we kind of go from there and develop the script. So it's a team effort. I just am kind of one leg of
you're just one piece of it. But I mean, you're still a piece. It's still
and
part of the puzzle.
And we all bring different, perspectives and ideas to the table. So it's great.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I commend you for being a teacher. That's one of the things that I had always wanted to be outside of the other things. But also I give mad respect, because one of my hardest classes in high school, my junior year, and I always tell people this, was college English. That was like I thought I was not going to graduate because of that class. And I was like, up until then, I really didn't respect anything, but my English teacher started throwing out words I had never heard before, and she was really challenging us and making us write, and that made me a better writer, and it helped me and contributed to the minimal success that I've had so far. Because I mean, without writing like how I write now, and um, I wouldn't have gotten this far. And the fact that the English component was very important in that. So I commend you
Absolutely.
for that.
And
Yeah, a
I
lot of
think it's
people.
definitely helped in regard to my songwriting for sure. I did a lot of poetry and just a lot of reading, reading
Yeah,
different stories and narratives and uh, being able to visualize, a kind of a beginning, middle, end to like storytelling, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it all. I love books and I love reading, so that was
Hmm.
not a chore for me at all, But yeah, it's definitely all kind of come together in some way. Like I said, the universe is working in my
Yeah.
favor.
Most definitely working. I mean,
Yeah.
you didn't know you could sing. You probably didn't know you could write. You know what I'm saying? Like, how lucky can you get? What I'm saying? Like, I don't know too many people that can sing and can write that didn't know they could sing and can
Yeah.
write.
Well, the funny thing about the writing is I didn't start writing until the blues band. And a
Hmm.
couple of things were just like poems that I developed into a song, like put it to the music once I
Hmm.
joined the band. Um, and but I didn't really really truly start songwriting for myself and in a different kind of style
Hmm.
until 2019, end of
Mm.
2019 and into COVID. And that's really when I basically started working on a DAW for the first time. I downloaded
Yeah.
Logic and figured
Uh-huh.
out how to record my vocals. And I, got a keyboard and I started using that like to play the chords under the top line that I heard in my voice. And,
Hmm.
I didn't even know what the word top line meant when I started. Top line meaning the vocal melody that
Yeah.
sits on
Uh-huh.
top of the music. Um, so my process is usually when I'm writing, I hear music in my head and I hear the melody, and
Hmm.
then I'll go to my keyboard and find the chords that fit with that. But
Mm.
I don't like play. Um, I don't know how to play elaborate.
Right. Like,
I,
mhm.
I consider myself a writer in the key of C and D, and a BPM of 70, meaning
Right.
everything's like this pace.
That's okay. That's okay. It works. Hey,
but
whatever works.
but that's when I compose and I write lyrics together. I'll
Hmm.
send that out to someone, and I always say, like, I've got a pretty good range, so I'll say, if you want to alter the key or
Hmm.
up the tempo to this, like, I just can't execute it like on the keyboard, but we can, I'll give a couple of reference tracks
Hmm.
for what the kind of vibe I'm listening to or hearing in my head, and maybe the type of instrumentation or the type of production I'm looking for. So I'll have a few
Hmm.
references that specify those things to whatever producer is going to help me fill in the track.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's always very helpful. And but yeah, I didn't start writing until the end of 2019. I've probably now got I'm in the neighborhood of somewhere like 170 songs
Wow.
fully mastered and produced.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, are you thinking about like possibly doing an album, EP, single, or do
Well,
you already have music out, or is this just music for other things and other
so
people?
when I started writing for myself under my own name, I was at the same time discovering this whole thing about sync licensing, which is
Mm,
putting music to picture and
right.
TV and film or ads in another case.
Mhm.
And so I thought, oh, this is really interesting. This might be another avenue to, like, make use of my music, because I
Mhm.
write and I sing and I love all different genres of music. So
Right.
I typically, when I started, I was just kind of letting whatever the lyric was or whatever the music was in my head, I was letting that dictate what kind of song it was going to be.
Mhm.
So I have everything from bluegrass to folk to singer-songwriter to funk to gospel, blues, jazz,
Wow.
rock, grunge rock, punk rock.
Just
I've done some hip hop. I've done some
yeah.
pop, like retro pop, like Donna Summer kind
Mhm.
of stuff. So I have a pretty wide range of material. I've worked with co-writers from all over the world.
Mhm.
I just from being in different online groups, but I learned
Mhm.
about sync licensing. Like I said, as I was songwriting, I was doing like 2 to 3 songwriting sessions a week, writing 3 to 4 songs a week, and just
Wow.
really honing in on the songwriting process,
Yeah.
and then slowly developing those songs into productions with different people that were willing to work with me. And
Mhm.
so um, yeah, and I've just it's just built over time. So now I've got a fairly large catalog,
Man,
and
that's impressive.
yeah, and I've made the effort of like going to LA on a fairly regular basis over the last couple of years to
Mhm.
actually do some of the networking events that are available to indie artists,
Mhm.
like Durango, which takes place in Ventura in February, which I highly recommend. It's an amazing event. Um,
Okay.
Durango Songwriting Expo is how you would look that up if you're interested.
Durango Songwriting Expo. Okay,
Yeah.
I've actually heard of that. I got a couple of artists that I manage out in California, and I
Mhm.
always get the emails from Music Connect, Music Connection, and they sent one out. I think it was last year in regards to that. So yeah,
Yeah. And there's
I'm
another
familiar with
group
that.
called What's Up Pitches. And they are doing one actually coming up, but they do one. Well, they're doing one in Chicago, but they also have done one in
Mm,
LA. So What's Up Pitches is another great group to look into as well. And
okay.
it's a female run company, and they're all very talented musicians and artists themselves, and
Uh
uh,
huh.
they run an agency that pitches music. So
Is it three women? Yeah, I get their newsletter as well. That's yeah, it's three women. They always show themselves on like at the bottom of the newsletter. If
yeah,
I'm yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
That's yeah, but the one thing about being in this industry is that you're in Canada right now. And I'm in Kansas City. We all can connect.
that's
It
right.
doesn't matter that you're in right outside of Vancouver or and I'm in the Midwestern area in the United States. You end up knowing somebody because I actually managed the artist for a little while from Canada, from Toronto, and
Okay,
um, and it was just like I never had been out there, and I used to ask them questions just like I'm asking you, and it was just like, wow, we can still connect and we can still be successful with each other and possibly even make money without even ever being able to physically
that's right.
be in the same room with each other. So I like that. But the other question I was going to ask, and you kind of hit on it already, was like, how is it? Does it feel being in the entertainment business as a woman, being successful, and what are your challenge? What have been your challenges in Canada?
Um, well, I don't know if I'm like totally the best person to answer that. I came into this very late in life. I
Mm-hmm.
do know that other women that have been doing this for their whole lives, since their 20s and
Mm-hmm.
30 plus years of doing this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that has really, I mean, they really did have to work at, being respected in the industry as a woman musician or a woman artist.
Yeah.
And also just the whole change of availability of gigs. There's really lacking venues that support live music nowadays. We've lost a bunch in Vancouver, just even since I started. And so, most of these people were gigging like a regular 6-day circuit, and they would just go venue to venue to venue 6 days and then loop around and do it again. And they were making, decent money. And the payment hasn't changed since the so if we're talking bar and pub gigs, the payment really hasn't gone up since the 70s, which is sad.
That is sad.
And so really the only way to really make live music decent money is in festivals or outdoor concerts, theater gigs, or people are doing the tribute band thing, which I am also just joined a tribute.
Oh, here we go, another band. Oh, you got more, man.
I'm not the lead though. I'm a backup singer. So
okay, yeah. I should just type in Google how many bands.
I've actually like given up a lot of my live gigs, like from the coast. I still occasionally gig with one band if I go down that way or whatever, but it's kind of like finding a new circuit around here of musicians. Right. And what's been nice where I live now, it's a smaller town kind of vibe. And one of the people that I first started songwriting with, Michael Averill, he lives in Kelowna, which is only an hour away. Highly recommend, again, if you love songwriting or want to learn how to songwrite, any aspect of it, or even want to, up your game in terms of performing or finish songs you have half done or whatever, he's a fantastic mentor. Michael Averill. Okay. Michael Averill, Averill, Averill Productions, or Write Songs You Love is his other website. Okay. He's fantastic. And so what's been nice about having him local, though, is that because I did a lot of my songwriting with him, and he's actually producing an artist EP of mine, which is hopefully going to come out by the end of the year.
Nice.
It's a legacy album for my family, so it's going to be called Family Album.
Okay.
Play on words. But I wrote songs dedicated to my parents who are both passed, and my son and my husband, and family that's still here. So that's hopefully going to come out this year. But he knows the arrangements, and he's played on some of these tracks, so he's able to now support me doing original songs live in town, which is like the first time I've been able to actually sing my originals, which
you got to slide them in because everybody's used to you being that cover artist, so they like, nah, we first we want to hear our cover song, then you can bring in the new material.
So so that's been kind of refreshing, is to be able to sing some of my original stuff. And then I've just been kind of showing up as a guest for other bands that might have a gig somewhere. I'll come in and sing some songs on their second set or something. And Ray Roper, who was the lead singer for a band called Stonebolt back in the 70s, they had a few radio hits, and he's a fantastic artist. And he now kind of performs in this area, he also produces. He just produced an album for I'm gonna block Paul. It'll come to me.
Okay.
But big artist anyway. I can't remember.
McCartney?
No. Artist. Oh my god.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, So I got two more questions for you. The first one would be, with all these bands that you are a part of or have been a part of, how, and the fact that you're a screenwriter, and I'm pretty sure you're taking care of family as well, like you said, like how important is time management?
Time management is huge. So
Mhm.
yeah, and I think, oh, it's Paul Rogers. Sorry, that's the
Paul Rogers. Okay.
yes, Paul Rogers from Bad Company. Oh my goodness,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
he produced his latest album. Sorry, I was really blogging on
Wow.
his name. Um, but yeah, I think the whole teaching background has helped me organize wise. So unlike I'm joking when I say this, but I like to, joke like, working with musicians is like herding cats, right? It's like squirrel.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the teacher in me is like, I like end up being the mother figure. I'm like, I'll make you a binder and put all your charts in it in alphabetical order. But
Mhm.
the time management definitely is a thing. I find that I'm more likely to get things accomplished if I have it in a calendar. I block off a spot for songwriting, or I block off a spot for recording, or I block off a
Mhm.
spot for collaborating online or zooming in or whatever it is that I want to accomplish music wise.
Mhm.
If I don't have it blocked off and it's not there as like, this is the time to focus, I very easily procrastinate.
Like, well, see, I'm
But
more like if
I also make time to do the admin, which is usually the stuff you hate doing. I actually
yeah.
enjoy getting it done, but I need to do it kind of like all in one block. So I'll go in
Mm,
and do metadata, which is all the file information for your song, all your splits with whoever you're writing with, your
credits.
pro
Uh-huh.
information that you've registered with SOCAN or ASCAP or BMI or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and all the contact information, the tagging of like what type of song, what mood, what all of that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, so that when people search up your songs, they can find that information and reach out to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's super, super important. Um, I'm going to give a shout out to disco.au, which is an Australian company
Okay.
that is fantastic for storing and file sharing. And if
Disco.au.
yeah, disco. And if you're looking at pitching music for TV and film and that kind of thing, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of music supervisors are using that platform, and so it just makes it
Mm,
that much easier. If they receive a link, they can just
mm-hmm.
download it right into their library.
Wow.
And all your information is going to be there, so that if they're searching in their computer, they'll find you. So
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend that company for that purpose.
That's a
And
good plug. That I mean, I like that. That's a good plug because
things I've
metadata is
learned,
very important.
things
What'd you
I've
say?
learned,
Yeah.
things I've learned over the years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've spent a lot
Right.
of time doing this kind of stuff. So
Well, and my last question would be, which would kind of lead up to what we were just talking about, is that for any aspiring screenwriter, songwriter, singer, researcher, um, and I gotta include bandmate. 'Cause I should have put that on there too, because yeah, that's probably the most important part of it. What what kind of advice would you give to one of
oh,
those
goodness. Okay,
individuals?
well, um, everybody starts somewhere. So I would say that if you have an interest in any of those areas, start exploring locally who's around. I would say if you have an interest in singing, and learning who else in your community does music, or you might want to collaborate with or write with, start going out to open mics and jams and like listen to other artists and see what kind of things they're doing. And if you like what they're kind of about or their sound, and then you can approach them and see if they are interested in working with you or playing behind you or whatever it is. But everybody starts somewhere. So the biggest thing is for me was I was always very intimidated to like put myself out there, and thankfully people were approaching me. I wasn't really approaching them.
You didn't know you could sing, so
but that might not be the case for everybody. So what I would say is, start putting posts out on Facebook or whatever social media that you work with, whether it's Instagram or whatever. Say like, I'm a songwriter, and there's so many groups online that are all about singers, musicians from different areas, or people that want to write together for sync licensing, all varying levels of skill or experience. But you have to start somewhere, and I think just kind of putting yourself out there, getting involved in those online forums and online groups where you can network and meet other people that maybe have a skill set that you don't have, so that you can kind of pair those two together to kind of create together, so that, if you're a lyricist and not a singer, but there's a singer involved, or if you're a songwriter, but you need a producer to help mix and master your track or whatever it is. So you can find those people that fill the holes and start working. Collaboration is huge. I highly recommend it. It has totally changed my productivity level, but also the types of music that I can produce or come out with, because people will send me their tracks and I'll write to that, and I get a completely different thing than if I was to write by myself. So
collaborations is everything. I mean, and lastly, where could people find you at on social media?
So I'm at Lisa Dunn Music on Instagram. I am at Lisa Dunn Music on most socials. I have to say I am terrible at TikTok. I think I have one post.
I closed my account. I was like, I'm done with
it. Where I've duetted somebody on the song at last, I think it was. I just find I don't particularly like being on camera, so I find my TikTok is lacking. But I'm mostly on Facebook, Lisa Dunn, Fennell in brackets, Fennell in brackets for my personal account, but Lisa Dunn Music is my music account on there as well. So, and then Lisa Dunn under any of the streaming like Spotify, Apple Music stuff, I'm under Lisa Dunn.
Okay.
And lisadunnmusic.com is my website, which links to all of those things, as well as my Bandcamp page, where you can download and support by downloading some songs of mine. I only have about 20 released, I think, at the moment, but I am working on that. That's another terrible thing I'm not good at, is I have to like block time to like just release a time release.
Right, yeah.
I've got so many songs, but I haven't released them.
You got to make the time. Like I said, it's only 24 hours in a day.
I need a personal assistant for all of that stuff. So
I get it, yeah. But the good thing is that we always figure it out.
Yeah.
We always figure it out. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for allowing me to interview you. I think this has been a great interview. You've given a lot of good advice, a lot of information that we as the viewers didn't know about. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the Zatar show. I'm looking forward to the legacy project that you're getting ready to bring out. And I like to see more shows on YouTube, live shows and live performances, because you just got a beautiful voice, and you're super creative. But we want to thank everybody that tuned in. And like I always tell my guests, this, even though it's live right now, it'll also be rebroadcast on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. So if you want to tag it, share it, go ahead. But we appreciate your time, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening.
This was a great interview, and I love that you're doing this for different people and different artists. And I wanted to encourage anybody, like, don't be shy if you want to reach out to me if you want to know more about any of the things I did talk about that are interesting to you. Feel free to reach out, and I'll try my best to support you or direct you in the right spot.
That's a good plug, y'all. That's a good plug. She know a lot of people and has done a lot of things in a short period of time. So that's very impressive. Well, thank you again, Lisa. And like I said, enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right. Have a good one.